Hello, YouTube. Wanted to take this time today and talk about binge eating and cheat meals and sometimes these videos you see on YouTube with like 10 calorie challenge, 10,000 calorie challenges, and how bad that is and why we should not be doing that. Now, I'm not saying every once in a while you can't enjoy a cheat meal, and I actually do that, and there's, I can share my way to do it, what I think is a proper way to do it. But I'm getting into this because I've been getting a lot of questions about it, like how do I incorporate it in? You know, how come all these people, can eat all this bad food and still look great? And there's actually a lot that's going on behind the scenes that you really may not realize. So first, kind of talking about binge eating and cheat meals, most of the times that we binge eat is because our current meal plan or diet is just way too strict. I do not believe in having like a diet that's just completely of plain broccoli, some type of boring carb, and fish. Some people like that and they can survive that way just fine and great for them. But the rest of the world, it's extremely hard. And what happens is when we restrict ourselves so much, we usually want what we can't have. So we start craving certain foods. And in this case, it could be sugar, it could be something super fatty, whatever the case may be. So most of the times that we want to binge eat or have a cheat meal is because our meal plan is just way too strict. So what I recommend, and I actually said this in the last video, is going more of like an 80-20, where 80% is relatively healthy and clean, and then the 20%, you fill in with some good little treats. So, it's about having a balance. It's about proper portion sizes, and it's about eating in moderation. So like the baseline for all of this is I really don't recommend being super strict. It's like I said, it messes with you mentally more than anything. Now, with cheat meals, I see a lot of people messing this up. What most people, a lot of times, may start off as a cheat meal and it turns into a cheat day. And in my previous video, I was talking about burning fat. Cheat meals and cheat days, you could easily go into a positive caloric intake of like thousands and thousands of calories. And you could potentially set yourself back a whole 3-4 days to a week, depending on how bad you cheat. So when you're about to go into a cheat meal, one, I would just limit it to a meal. You could do a lot less damage in a meal and you can compensate the rest of that day. So let's say you have, worst case scenario, like a 2,000 plus calorie meal. You could limit the rest of the day with what you're eating to not severely go over your caloric intake. Now, so again, cheat meal rather than cheat day. And if you know that you're going to have a bigger cheat meal, then I would severely cut calories either the day before or leading up to that meal and after. But moral of the story is that we really should not be eating all this crap food. It's not good for our health. It's not good for our digestive system. So, a cheat meal should not be a regular thing. When you're eating healthy foods and you're eating in that moderation, that 80-20 or whatever it is, you're introducing a little bit of, that 20% not so perfect. That's not going to have you cheat as much. Like for instance, for breakfast, I will make pancakes, but I make it in a way where it's calorically on the lower side and it's loaded with fruits, maybe some oatmeal or whole wheat bread. I would literally take whole wheat bread with egg whites and a little other couple ingredients and blend it all together. So there's ways around it. There's so many recipes out there that you can find on YouTube to, like make a healthier, low-calorie version of something that's way off the charts, whether it be brownies, cookies. There's even, lower-calorie donuts you can make. So I know I've posted about protein ice cream or protein pudding. So there's ways around it so you're not wanting to cheat more often. But again, if you really are hard set on a cheat meal, limit it as much as possible and compensate for the calories around it. Now, when this leads me into the other thing I wanted to talk about is like on YouTube, there are thousands and thousands of cheat day videos. And it's like 10,000 calorie challenge this, 15,000 calorie challenge that. Do not do that. I can't force you to not do anything, but I highly, highly recommend do not doing that. One, that could severely mess you up for a couple days, if not more. You will feel like crap. It will not be worth it. Now, with these YouTubers, a lot of them are getting paid to do this. And one, you'll either not see them eat all the food, so they'll maybe have a couple bites and then they'll do some great editing and it maybe looks like they did, but they really didn't. Or they're throwing it up. Because with a lot of these YouTubers, it's like cheat meal video after cheat day, like 10,000 calorie video after another. If they kept doing that consistently, they would not still be in the body fat percentage that they're in. They would be obese and overweight. So they're either not eating all of it or they're throwing it up. So moral of the story is I highly, highly, highly recommend to not do that. So that's why it's more have a better moderation type of diet where you're eating healthy foods, you stay on the low caloric side, but you can manipulate the recipes in a certain way so it tastes really good and you're not wanting to binge more often. But if you do want to have a cheat meal, compensate. Keep it at a cheat meal so it's a lot less damage than eating like all that crap all day. So that's really kind of what I wanted to hit on today. But for me, and obviously I can only share what I do. For me, during the day, like I said, I will, the base of what I'm eating is very healthy. And, exercising on top of that. So I'm able to have, obviously, and I'm also like 250, 60 pounds, so I can eat more, but I still get cravings. It's not like I'm, or other successful fitness personalities out there. It's not like we're immune to these cravings. I can't tell you every day how much I want to eat donuts or get pizza or this or that. But one, I know if I do that, I'm going to put on 100+ pounds. So it's not like we're invincible to this. We are all in the same boat. It just goes back to eat healthy, stay, with lower caloric foods and, create recipes or look up certain recipes that allow you to trick the mind and that you're eating certain foods. Like, I know a pizza recipe where a whole pizza is 800 calories instead of 2,000 calories. So there's ways around it. Or eating certain snacks, like a whole bag of chips is like 1,000 calories. If you get Orville Redenbacher's Smart Pop, the whole bag is like 200 some calories. You're better off eating the whole bag of popcorn than a whole bag of chips. So there's ways around it. And if you need more guidance on this, please reach out and I can definitely help create or support, on what to eat and get around cravings. If you have a sweet tooth, like I said, protein ice cream or protein pudding. I have that almost every day because I have one of the biggest sweet tooths that I know. Or another great one, who doesn't love a cheeseburger? You can make a low-calorie cheeseburger. Even you can find rolls out there that are maybe only buns out there that are only 30 grams of carbs, or use 2 pieces of bread, 93% lean ground beef, put on some good condiments. And with the cheese, they have fat-free cheese out there. And believe it or not, I use the Kraft 2% singles. And before you all give me crap about eating those, they are literally protein squares. One slice has only 2.5 grams of fat. They are extremely low calorie. And if you put one slice on, that's not going to do any damage. So like I keep saying, there are ways around this. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Please subscribe below, give this a like, and I'll see you in the next video.